here in South America. With you, I am going to share the amazing story she has shared with the whole group here in the cruise ship. Hello Susan, it's nice to meet you again, and thank you to accept to do this little documentary for you and your adventure trips of your family here.
Thank you, it's been a great honour. This trip has been a really important one for me to retrace the sail prints of my grandparents and my mother. And my grandfather was a Finnish sea captain who met a Geelong school teacher in Melbourne, Geelong, in the early 1900s. They courted for 10 years. She married him and took off on the sailing ship to go to Finland. They came around down South American coast and around Cape Horn, and I've followed their trip very carefully. My mother made a couple of these trips when she was a child. She rode her tricycle around Cape Horn, according to her, and I found it was really, one of the really important things was when I got to Port Stanley, we were under the impression that the ship had been damaged and sunk. It was after my grandfather died, and it was in another captain. But when I got to Port Stanley, the brilliant thing was that the women at the museum were as excited as me, because the ship hadn't sunk. It was tethered for 40 years off Port Stanley and was their local icon and was very much loved. And I felt really good about that for my whole family, finding that. And so I've been able to trace my mum and my grandma and my grandfather's trip around South America. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. You've been so nice, and also you've been carrying some pictures around.
Yeah.
Could you please explain us what about these pictures, please?
Okay. Which one? This one is the ship, the Fennia, that my grandfather sailed around on and my mother came on. This is my mother on the deck as a 4-year-old near Cape Horn with her Dolly's tea set, and then above here these are pictures nearing Buenos Aires, and you can see it's much sunnier, warmer weather. And this is my grandfather here, and then there's the ship coming around Cape Horn at another time, and you can see all the waves going across the deck, and I thought it would be like that, but we've had a very calm trip around, so I believe my mother might have had her doll's tea set on the deck. They're probably the main ones there. And this is an article that was in the papers in Australia in 1970 when my mother, who was one of the youngest Cape Horners, went to a reunion. Cape Horners are the people that have rounded the Horn under sail. And the stories you can see on the headline, she rode around Cape Horn on her tricycle, which I always didn't believe until I went round myself. So that's my mum and my dad. And these ones here, this is the ship, the Fennia, the ship just at sea in the calm weather. This is my mother and her brother back in 1924 when they came around again, just playing on the deck, and they didn't have a swimming pool, of course, so they used the bath, and I've still got that at home, which my children use, and my grandchildren. And this one is not a very clear one, but it's some pigs on the deck, that the pigs used to be brought on board with other animals because they didn't have much in the way of refrigeration, so that was dinner for a few nights. And that's about it, and it's been a really important trip for me, and it's been a really important trip to me, and I am so glad I did it. And Maria has been the most wonderful guide that we could have possibly wished for, so thank you.
And I want you please leave a message for your family, because already your grandparents, your mother, and also you, and maybe your daughter and your grandchild, all of them should come around.
Okay, I think that they should all probably. I would like to think that one day that my family, my son, my daughter, her husband and her children, and any other children that may turn up, may have also come and trace these ship prints again. It's been really wonderful, a magical experience. So thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Bye first. See you.